Today I'm picking my July TBR using a TBR wheel. This is my first time doing it and I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be picking 6 prompts for the month of July. Without further ado, the first prompt's going to be a book you keep putting off. That's a good one. I feel like I literally just read so many books that I've been putting off, but let me see what I can come up with. So I came up with 3 books. First is going to be House of Sky and Breath, which is the second book in the Crescent City series by Sarah J. Maas. Honestly, this is a book I feel like I'm gonna have to end up picking because Akatar 6 comes out in October, and I know you have to read the second and third book of Crescent City first before you read those. But just for fun, these are other books that I've been putting off, and that is Storm of Secrets and Sorrows by Melissa K. Rourke. This is the second book in the Legacy series. I read Rain of Shadows and Endings a couple months ago, and I absolutely loved it, and I've been wanting to get back to this. It's just so chunky that I have not had the motivation to pick it up. And lastly, A Touch of Golden Madness, which has been on my TBR for probably 6+ months, and I know that this is a dark romantasy. I've heard really good things about it, and again, it's just a big book, but I feel like I have to really be in the mood for this. And honestly, in honor of Akatar 6 coming out in October, I feel like it would be a disservice to not pick House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. This again is the second book in the Crescent City series, and I love the first book. I read it actually last June, so it's been about a year now, and it follows Bryce Quinlan, and this is set in a urban fantasy world. I really liked it. I love that there was an underlying mystery plot going on, and I love that we are learning a lot of things alongside our character. And then the MMC in this book, I thought that he was so interesting. I really love Sarah J. Maas's MMCs. I feel like she's so good at creating complex, diverse characters, and I can't wait to pick this up. Our second prop is going to be new to you author. And it was so close to summer romance. Oh my gosh, I've just been loving summer romances so far, but new to you author is also a very good one, and actually I have the perfect book. I was just looking at this today. It is a fantasy with a sports romance element to it, and I've just been hearing such good things about it. I'm so excited. And that book is called The Wing Game by Sophie Kim. I'm just going to read you a little bit of the description because it's literally right up my alley. I feel like somebody said, what are the things that I can put within a book that is going to appeal to Veronica? And it's everything that this book is about. So it says basically this is like a rugby style game set in a fantasy world that has rivals to lovers, and there's this girl that basically has this rival that gets her kicked off of the team. 2 years later, he propositions her to come back onto this made up rugby team that they have in this universe, and also ask her to fake date him. And I literally just said say less. Like, that is the perfect quintessential book that speaks to me on a molecular level. Like, it's not even funny. That is the perfect book for me. And then I know that there's also this underlying illness that they're dealing with in this world, and they're trying to solve it. So there's also a mystery subplot. Again, I am so excited about this. This is another fantasy book, and I just feel like this is going to be so much fun. For our third prompt, let's see, I really want like a new release. I think that that would be amazing. I have so many books coming out this month that I'm super excited about, and if they could just be put on my TBR, that would be amazing. I can't make this up. This literally says a book releasing this month. What? Thank you. TBR gods are listening. That is perfect. Let me see. A book that is releasing this month. Daybreak. I am so excited about this book. This is the follow-up to Nightshade, which was one of my favorite books that I read last year. I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. It just spoke to me. It is one of my favorite books that I read. I cannot stop thinking about it, and I plan to reread this actually before Daybreak comes out at the end of the month, so this is perfect. And then for our fourth pick, let's see this time what would I want. A summer romance. Honestly, it's July, it's peak summer. I'm excited about it. I would love to have that. That would just be the greatest. I don't think I could top a new release, so I really don't. I can't make this up. Are you kidding me? A summer romance. Wow. Wow, I'm just getting so excited that now all the summer romances are falling out of my head. I can't believe that. I really can't. That is insane. But summer romance wise, I do actually have a couple, and I feel like I have the perfect one, but I'm still gonna give options. Okay, first to start out is Annabelle Monaghan. I think that's how you say her last name. I read Dolly All the Time last month, and I absolutely loved it. It was my first book by her, and for years I've just heard amazing things about her romances. I know that they follow women that are a little bit older in their lives, and basically what it's like dealing with either being like a single mother or a person that's recently divorced or any of that, and it's all set in the summer. So I know that there's summer romance, which sounds perfect. That's literally what the prompt is. Same time next summer, It's a Love Story, and Nora Goes Off Script. Any one of those sound good. I know that I'm definitely going to read one of these in the month of July. The other two that I have is Not Safe for Work by Nisha J. Tooley. This one, I believe, is about rivals that work in the same company, and I want to say that the MMC's dad owns the company, and then the girl is a person of color that is really struggling because people are essentially not taking her seriously because she is. And I know then that they both go on a trip to some island, and then they end up, you know, of course, falling in love. But this is just peak summer. I absolutely love this cover. I think it's gorgeous. And then the last one, which I think is the one I have to go with, is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. I have heard literally nothing but glowing reviews about this book. I know this is about Charlie Ford, and that everybody says that even if you don't like him in Every Summer After, he is redeemed in the story. As somebody that did not read Every Summer After and honestly never had the interest in reading Carly Fortune, hearing how much people love this and that this was like the book of summer last year, I wanted to pick it up. And seeing him in the TV show, I saw that there was a lot of potential for growth, and the story just sounded interesting. And again, just the perfect summer cover. I know that this follows him and Alice, and that Alice takes a picture of him, which is basically him and his brother and I think his girlfriend on a boat, and it becomes popular or something like that. And then she ends up moving back to the lake to take care of her grandma, who I think broke her hip, and her and Charlie start talking, and then they hit it off. So this is the one I feel like I have to go with. I knew I definitely wanted to read this summer, and honestly I wanted to read it in July, and I feel like it's perfect. And for our fifth pick, I mean, I've gotten two in a row. What else could I sit there and want? Maybe a thriller. There are a couple thrillers coming out that I feel like are going to be so exciting. I couldn't get it that time. Oh, I was going to say 3 for 3. That would have been so funny. But those first two, perfect. But it says a book that was recommended in your comment section. And I'm going to have to go to my TikTok to check on this because I've seen some. But if you didn't know, I do have a book talk. And I have actually gotten a couple comments on different books. So I'm going to go peruse that and see what some people are saying. So in one of my comment sections where I was talking about my favorite sports romance series, which is the DC Star series, somebody said the Playing for Keeps series by Becca Mack. I actually have tried to read one book in this series. I think it was called Play With Me, if I'm not mistaken. And honestly, I didn't really like it. I think that honestly, it was just cringy, really. And I'm not somebody that gets cringed out easily, but I didn't like it. So that's one. Another one that I got on a post was about a thriller. It was called Unhinged Kane. It's a serial killer book. Interesting, and it's a psychological horror. I really have not read a lot of psychological horror books, but I feel like that could be interesting. I've read some books that have like a horror element in it, so I like this one. This is definitely an option. And another one was when I was talking about Blood of Hercules. There is a comment that said if you have not read the Psycho Shifter series by her, this is also really good. I believe that this series has 6 books. I want to say that the first 3 are about one couple and the second 3 are about another couple. I know that it's also another Why Choose series. Honestly, again, I'm not a Why Choose person, but I really, really love Blood of Hercules, and I love Jasmine Moss's writing. I feel like this one could be really interesting. And another one is on a post about Zodiac Academy, which is one of my favorite dark romantasy series that I've ever read. I read it last year and I absolutely loved it. And this person recommended Sins of the Zodiac. And if I'm not mistaken, that is the one that starts with Never Keep. and I've heard nothing but good things about Never Keep and the rest of that series, so that one's really, really high up. It's just that that is a super, super long book. Okay, this is technically cheating, but because it's my TBR and I've been absolutely loving this series, I have to pick the fifth book in the Mortal Instruments series. This person commented the preferred reading order for Cassandra Clare's whole Shadowhunter universe, and this was actually back from when I first read City of Bones, and I, again, absolutely loved it, and I knew that I wanted to read this book, so I'm going to go ahead and add that to my TBR as my fifth pick. And that's going to be City of Lost Souls. Again, this is the fifth book in the Mortal Instruments series. This series basically follows Clary, who is a 16-year-old girl living in New York. And one day something happens to her mother. She goes missing. And she ends up finding out that there's this whole race of people known as Shadowhunters. And they basically are hunting down demons that are walking around the streets of New York and other places in the country. And she ends up teaming up with them to basically figure out what's going on with her mom. Why was her mom targeted? Maybe her mom is more involved in this world than she ever expected. I really, really loved it. I feel like I talk about the series constantly. Honestly, the fact that I'm reading this as an adult and it hits just as much as I feel like it would have if I'd read it when I was a teenager, it's just amazing. I love Cassandra Clare's writing. I've loved really every single one of her books that I've read this year so far, and I know that I want to continue, so I know that I'm excited to pick this up. And our sixth and final book that will be on this July TBR is going to be, again, I'm hoping for a thriller or maybe a romance book. I definitely have quite a few fantasy. Actually, I have, I think, 3 fantasy on this list, which is kind of crazy. So let's see. A book out of your comfort zone. Of course, I literally just read a book out of my comfort zone called Into the Blue, and then I get this prompt. So a book out of my comfort zone. I'm going to have to check on that because I honestly don't know. I wouldn't just have something off of the top of my head. Okay, I think I have 2. One is a thriller. I don't know if it's classified as mystery or thriller, but it's called The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I know that a couple years ago this book was extremely popular on BookTube, and so many people were reading and picking it up. I know that it's set in I think the Adirondack Mountains, I might be saying that word wrong, in the 70s, I believe, and it's set at a summer camp where these people are going missing, and I know that it involves one of the owner's children going missing, and that's when they start like sparking interest in it. And then the other one is actually going to be a second chance romance. That is not one of my favorite subgenres or tropes of romance. This book is called Sunken Love, and this is about 2 people that have been married for 5 years. They basically end up going through something tragic, and it's really started impacting their relationship. They end up going on a trip to Hawaii to help with the female main character's grandparents, I believe, vow renewal, and they are putting on a farce that they are still married even though they are heading towards divorce. And again, it's second chance romance, which is not something that I'm super excited about or that I reach for the most, but the premise of this did sound really interesting. And again, I feel like because it's summer and I'm just in such a summer mood, I'm going to have to go with that. It's called Sunken Love by Heather McBreen. So that is going to be my 6th book on the TBR. So to run those back again, I had 6 books on my TBR. First, I had House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, which is the 2nd book in the Crescent City series. This has to be my main priority, again, because ACOTAR 6 comes out in October, and I can honestly listen to this as an audiobook. That's how I listen to a lot of her books, and I really love the female narrator. I know that she does, I think, every single one of hers, so this has to get tackled super, super early. The Winged Game by Sophie Kim. Again, this is a sports romance fantasy with fake dating and an underlying mystery subplot. There's a lot that I feel like is going on in this book, and it's just one that I've been seeing so many people talk about that got arcs, saying that they feel like this is going to be the next big book. And again, like I said, if there's a book that could have my name printed on it, it would be this one. I feel like this is just going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so, so excited. Next, we have the sequel to Nightshade, Daybreak. This was going to be my new release. This is probably one of the ones that I'm the most excited about being on my TBR. Again, this is one of my favorite books from last year. I think about it all the time. I plan to reread it right before Daybreak, and I just know that Daybreak is going to have a lot of pining and yearning, and we're going to kind of pick up right from where this story ends. I just couldn't be more excited that that's going to be on my TBR. Then we had One Golden Summer, which is my first summer romance on the TBR. Like I said, this is about Charlie Forick, and this is in this like universe that Carly Fortune has created. I, again, just feel like this is the perfect summer romance. I planned on picking this up in July anyway, and now that it's on the TBR, it just shot it up even higher for me. City of Lost Souls, which is the 5th book in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Again, I've been raving about her. I absolutely love her. This is a series that has literally just been consuming my brain space. Every time I put it down, I want to pick up the next one. Every time I'm reading another book, I'm always thinking about this. It's just in the back of my mind, and it's one that is so easy to read and binge and just pick up on the weekend, honestly, and just have a good time and get lost in the universe. And last is going to be Sunk in Love by Heather McBreen. Again, this is a second chance romance that also looks like it's potentially set in the summer, or at least has a summer backdrop, which is Hawaii, which I feel like is a perfect summer backdrop. And I just know that this book would definitely be out of my comfort zone, again, because I don't read a lot of second chance romance. It's not one of my favorite tropes, but the premise of this sounds really interesting. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope you liked it. I would love to know what are some of the books on your July TBR. Are there any new releases that you are super excited about? If you could leave that down in the comments, I would love to see it.